Today, we'll be bending and fabricating the handrails for the new pod. Let's go check it out.
Welcome back to Do It With Darryl. Last week, we noticed a brand new toy had shown up on the landing dock at JR. This shiny new machine is made by an Italian company called Ercolina. It's a programmable hydraulic pipe bender. We just had to get the lowdown on how this thing works. Jevin explains.
For the handrails, we're gonna get to test out JR Marine's newest pipe bender. Jevin, what is happening with this? I've never seen anything so weird looking.
Yeah, well, it's an upgrade for us. Traditionally, the decade past, we've had a pipe bender, which has limited us with like 90-degree bends or slightly over 90. The unique properties of this Ercolina is it allows us to do 180-degree bends on material. So it's a programmable unit. So if you have a manufacturing product that you're trying to replicate, this is going to give you 100% accuracy on the parts that you're manufacturing. It still enables us to do one-off pieces, in a pump style bend. So exactly, there's a little manual process, but it also has a log in the CNC format in the computer. So
this is like similar to the brake press and the cutter.
correct,
Okay.
but it's very versatile. You can add any custom diameter to each size of pipe, so you can add the value to the machine. We just got the one that's most versatile for us. Yeah, 100% of the time. You can bend stainless and steel with this, but we keep isolated so that we don't cross-contaminate in the boat manufacturing. So it's really important for us to only use aluminum on it. Because if you start using steel on it, what happens? They get in there. You have aluminum, it goes on your boat, it lives outside in the salt water, and all of a sudden your aluminum starts rusting.
Yeah.
So we keep them totally separate.
I found it so interesting that using various metal alloys could cross-contaminate between projects. This is due to the small particles that are left behind after each bend. Interesting stuff. Jevin told me that aside from a few test bends, ours is the first time they will have used it on an actual project. Out on the shop floor, Ty and Aiden had started the two safety rails that would enclose the rear pod area. While Ty cuts each of the top pieces to size, Aiden gets started on the next two bends. After entering the correct angles for each bend, Aiden sprays a lubricant to help the material slide evenly.
So what's the total you're trying to get to?
Just 90 degrees for this one, half the speed. But if you have,
You'd bump over it.
too fast. Yeah, and there's also spring back, right? You gotta select the press, so you have to go a little bit over, and then it'll bump back. So I figured out yesterday that 90,
Yeah.
if you go to 98.1, it springs back to 90 quite well.
98.
Yeah.
Wow. Boy, that's significant.
So even right now at 91, it's probably not, it's still undermanned quite a bit.
Springback is when the material settles back or relaxes into a position, causing the angle to change. This means checking every bend is critical. It also means that a slight amount of overbending might be needed on a case-by-case basis. After a few more bends and more checking, Aiden runs it over to the shop to compare it against the first piece. He scribes a few marks as center lines for the compound angles that are required before heading back to the bender. Leveling each piece is also critical when performing compound angle bends. This ensures that the joints for each piece will meet tightly for welding. A protractor helps confirm the center line for each of the angles.
These sleeves are gonna go right over the new handrails and help hold it steady in the pod. Let's go over there and check it out. So in the pod itself, we've actually bolted these new sleeves in, and what that's gonna do is hold our new railings on the side. And what they have ready at JR is we're gonna have these new bushings, which are gonna stop any of the aluminum rattling. So that's gonna go first, get squeezed inside the holes, and the new railings will just slide right into the bushing, and it's going to be an awesome setup. We'll be able to remove it whenever we want. I'm really excited about this part.
When we got back out on the shop floor, Ty had already started to TIG weld the frame together, but not before he lit his hand on fire. Once the smoke had cleared, Aiden now had to start the end cuts for the interior support rails. These cuts will need to be coped to fit flush to the outer frame.
The guys are inside coping out the horizontal supports for our new pod railing. So when you're welding two pieces butted together of aluminum piping, you end up getting a very big gap. So the guys actually cut a beautiful curve concave shape out of the pipe itself, and now when we add the butt joint, it welds perfectly and looks so much better.
Using a traditional hand drill and hole saw is a simple but effective way to create these joints. The trick is bracing the drill and the stock so that nothing shifts during the cut. After a bit of cleanup on the raw edges, the entire rail assembly is TIG welded together.
Here's what the final coat piece looks like.
Next, it was over to the pod to prep the welded sleeves that will support the new railings. High-density plastic bushings will act as inserts within each sleeve. They are friction fit into place and stop any lateral movement. The two vertical support posts have also been coped to create a perfect fit for the railing frame. The guys first check for level on the pod, then position the railing assembly to level check that as well. Once the guys are happy with the leveling, they square it to the pod and tack it solid to the vertical support posts. Sam came out to take a look just as I was trying a test fit for myself. The guys did an absolutely amazing job on these safety rails. I think they all felt pretty damn good about how it all came together. How do you think the railings have turned out? Please take the time to leave us a comment below, and I'll see you next Saturday on another episode of Do It with Darryl.